What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I am Sid the Nerdy Mark, and this is my review of Baki the Grappler Season 2, the Maximum Tournament Saga. So, Baki the Grappler Season 2 aired from July 23rd, my birthday, all the way up to December 24th of 2001. Now, this whole season pretty much takes place in the underground tournament that Baki participates in. It's also called the Maximum Tournament Saga for that reason. And I'm not going to get into like the history or anything like that because I did cover by and large the entire history of Project Baki in my Baki the Grappler Season 1 review. If you haven't watched it, click right over here or right over here wherever the eye pops up and you can watch that video. But we're going to talk about Baki the Grappler. I'm going to talk about some notable characters that show up, as well as some talking points. That's really all I'm going to do, and then I'll give some final thoughts and a rating, and that will be all she wrote. So, I've already talked about my favorite character on Baki the Grappler, and that of course would be the king, Yujiro Hanma. But there are some other characters of note that are introduced in Season 2, namely Katsumi Orochi, who is the son of Dobo. He is, of course, trained by his father and has a similar fighting style to him. Then we have Kosho and Kuriya Shinogi. These are two brothers. Kosho specializes in nerve cutting. It's actually pretty interesting. They kind of show it like he pulls out a string and he detaches it. It's pretty cool, but it's also kind of brutal. Kuriya Shinogi is also a licensed professional. He's a doctor as well as a fighter, so he pretty much knows where the pain points and the pressure points are when he fights. And he's also in peak physical condition. That's pretty crazy, so try to beat him up. I think you'll have a very bad time. And then we have Jack Hammer, or Jack Zama as he is called in the anime. He is Baki's opponent in the finals. He does rely on experimental drugs to, get his strength and whatnot. And he also has mysterious ties with Baki and Yujiro, which we will explore as I talk about some of the points that I took down while watching this anime. So, I will be having some plot details throughout this whole review. They're not like major spoilers or anything. As I mentioned earlier, this whole season does take place throughout the duration of the Maximum Tournament, which is the underground tournament that takes place in the Tokyo Dome. It's in the underground arena. It actually is starting from Season 1, the latter half of Season 1, and it kind of bleeds into the second season, and pretty much they just finish it out here. So let's just talk about the opening track and the opening sequence. I didn't like it at all. Like it was absolutely trash. Like the 3D rendering, I wasn't feeling it. I get it was 2001, but honestly, they should have just stuck with the 2D. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The music also isn't upbeat as Season 1's. Like Season 1's opening theme, which is called I Believe, by the way, that really got me going and really wanted me to like get up and go exercise or do something. I just want to go to bed hearing this opening song, and quite frankly, it did kind of add to me not being wanting to watch the show as much. It really was part of the reason why it took me so long to finish this season. And which is why you're getting this review in March, in the beginning of March. Don't worry, you'll get another Baki review at the end of March, okay? So chill. Just didn't really set the vibes for me, you know what I'm saying? It could have been so much better, so much more upbeat, a little bit more action-oriented, wanted a little bit more punch. Every episode is honestly pretty formulaic. You start out with a fight, and then you get into like the flashback of both fighters and where they came from, and then the fight ends. I mean, there is some plot progression on the point of Baki, especially with Jack Hanma, who actually plays a much more prominent role towards the latter half of this season. But for the most part, he's kind of not existent, I guess, in the first half. But then the second half, that's when he becomes more prominent. But it was cool to see the origin story of all these fighters. But the thing is, most of these fighters get eliminated, and why should I care? Why are you even making me care about any of these guys? I just want to get to the fighting, and I want to see more about Baki. You know what I mean? That kind of makes it a little bit overbearing and exhausting to, just watch fight after fight after fight. There's nothing in between that gives us a bit of a break. Like, at least in the first season, it wasn't like just fight. It was actually, there was a fight. He grows, he trains, he works out, he gets big, he gets shredded. Then he goes and fights the Yasha ape. Then he trains some more. Then the Yasha ape is killed by Yujiro, and he's pissed at Yujiro. And then now he wants to kill him, and he trains to get fat, to get better. Like there's a story, there's a progression of Baki's character, not just physically, but mental progression of his character too. That wasn't much of it here. It's just Baki almost knows everything, and he's just a badass, and why should I give a shit? Like, at least I actually related to Baki in season 1. Here, I don't relate to him as much, and that kind of really rubbed me the wrong way just a little bit. The fights are very good, though. The fight scenes are all good. I don't want to take anything away from the quality of the fight scenes. They're choreographed really well, continue to show all different combat styles, from mixed martial arts to Chinese kung fu to karate, pro wrestling, you name it. Everything is in here. So there is, like I said, if you are a fan of combat sports, this anime is for you. The animation is still really good. It still holds up today. They didn't really, stinge on the animation. It's still really good, especially for the fights. And I don't know if it's just me or if there was like a bit of a shine on everybody. I know there's like a spotlight in the arena, but it just gives everybody, all the fighters, like this glossy look on them. We do learn that Jack wants revenge on Yujiro for what he did to his mother, because Yujiro was in the military and him and his mom had an interaction. Yujiro did something which, isn't completely revealed, but we do know that something went wrong between Yujiro and Jack's mother. But, this is when they were in the military. There's a flashback of when, Yujiro was young. He's a 16-year-old kid who gets enlisted in the army. He doesn't even wear his, army threads. He literally just wears, pants and has, no shirt on, and just goes and just kills, whole militias. That's why Yujiro is my favorite character. You just don't mess with him, okay? He's an absolute freaking badass. And if you try to get in his way, he's going to murder you, okay? So that's why I love Yujiro. God, that's just a testament to what kind of a person I am. I guess it's just because I wish I was as ripped as he is. That would be amazing, but whatever. Towards the end of the show, we do realize that Baki has a certain ability, which, I kind of alluded to in season 1. He has a certain ability, which, like I said, we've talked about in season 1, but I don't want to talk about it here. That was actually kind of cool to see, even though it was only for 2 minutes where he tapped into that ability. It was still cool to see. At the end of the day, Baki still doesn't become like his father. He's still a compassionate guy. Yujiro's whole philosophy, though, is obviously, fight till the death, but Baki does show compassion, which Yujiro finds as a symbol of weakness. But you know what? I don't care. I know that Yujiro is, as a person, may not be the best guy to, have a beer with, but his strength, his abilities, his fighting style, his freaking physique, that's why I like him, man. I don't care. The final episode of the season finale, I guess, is actually literally one whole story of Yujiro Hanma during, his time in the military. It starts with Jack Hanma's flashback of Yujiro, and then, the last episode is kind of a continuation of that story. And you'll understand why when you watch the show. But that's really all the talking points that I want to talk about. Like I said, I didn't want to get into too many specifics because I've already talked a little bit more about it on my season 1 review. But let's go ahead and I'll get into some final thoughts. So overall, basically a summary of my review. I thought this was a bit of a drag to get through. While season 1 was, definitely had that adventure feel and really made me want to watch the next episode immediately, basically. This one, honestly, I took a longer break between episodes to watch. Sometimes I only watch one episode and leave it for a week and then come back to it. While Baki The Grappler season 1, I think watching one episode at least every day, if not 2 or 3 a week, and it just kind of sucked that they weren't able to make it as engaging. But honestly, I wanted more episodes like that last episode, I wanted more of that, more of like, Yujiro's story. Like, honestly, if they made Baki the Grappler season 2 a little bit more about centered around Yujiro, I would have been cool with that. And it's not just because he's my favorite character, it's just because there would have been a better opportunity for a story, in my opinion. But hey, it is what it is. I guess maybe it will make more sense as we explore, the OVA and the Baki TV show that's on Netflix. So, we'll talk about it when we talk about it. But like I said, the fight is still good. There's no change in the animation quality, so I'm glad about that. There is a little bit character development and storytelling for Baki, but not really that much. Definitely could have been a lot more. Towards the end of the show, he has some more development, but like I said, but still, it was just honestly really exhausting because it was every episode was just either just a fight. That's all there was. It was just fight, and then boom, we're done. Honestly, it should have breezed by a little bit faster. But frankly, that kind of, just because it was so formulaic, it made it difficult for me to watch. But hopefully, I do hope the OVA that I'm going to talk about, as well as the Netflix shows, get better. But for now, as far as the rating goes, I am giving Baki the Grappler Season 2 the bar. So, that pretty much concludes my review of Baki the Grappler Season 2. If you have watched Baki Season 2, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Follow me on social media. Tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. And that's it. That's all I got. Till next time, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.